really should know how to pronounce her name by now. Hold on a minute, you guys. I don't want to hear nobody. I am safe, okay? Don't worry about it. I'm good. Alright. Oh, is it upside down? It is. No, it's not. Why did it do that? Alright. Let me turn this down some. I went back and forth on this because I have notes for this. I really have notes for this, you guys. Let me see if I can do it justice without the notes. In this video, it's the cloudy sky with the pict. We're talking about taking a narcissist to court, okay? This is stemming from my live chat. Was it yesterday? Or someone, or the day before yesterday maybe. Someone had questions because they're going through a custody battle with a narcissist that they had a child with. And, you know, they feel like the narcissist is filling the child's mind with this and that. And, you know, they felt really discouraged. And I was telling them is just like the narcissist love bomb them, they can love bomb anyone outside of romantic situations. So they could very well be love bombing the child to, you know, get some mind control and have the child behave a certain way to discredit the mother for whatever their agenda is. And it can't even, they might not even really want the child, but just to win against you in court, just to upset you, just to hurt you, just to, you know, just for that, that's a good enough reason for them to give their best effort. Not because they sincerely want the child. Whew. So, with that being said, you know, I was basically advising the person, you know, I'm not a lawyer, but just advising as far as dealing with a narcissist in that type of situation, to realize that they're not going to play fair. And they're not going to be playing fair. They don't play fair outside of the court. They definitely ain't playing fair inside of the court, where it's even more serious. Think about it. And there's no sense in falling into pieces behind that, because it really is what it is. The courtroom is not going to be a place for your emotions per se, unless that's the thing. You know, there are exceptions to everything, of course. If you had a certain type of case and you had jurors and it was to your benefit to be emotional and show that, that's fine. But when you need to come before a judge who's going to be primarily focused on the facts, or what appears to be the facts, you know, you want to have yourself together and not come off as a basket case, a crazy person, a deranged person. You know, all the raw emotions that you probably feel fresh off of the breakup. Because a lot of times when we're going to court with these people, it's fresh off of a breakup or discard, you know, separation, whatever you want to call that, divorce, betrayal. And when people are fresh on no contact, it could feel like the worst times of your life, emotionally, depending on the situation, you know. Depending, it's not everybody, but it's typical, especially when it was a romantic relationship and it was long term. All right. You guys, if you're taking a narcissist to court, the first thing you need to do is understand that they're going to hit below the belt, just like they did in a relationship, and it's going to be twice as hard. Anything you've ever told them, anything that they feel that would give them any type of edge, anything that they could manipulate on any level, that's what they're going to try to do. to gain control and power of the situation, just to win the case. They might even care, but it's just to win at all costs and by any means necessary. They'll play dumb. They'll stretch the truth. Nene May lost a tooth yesterday in the car. They'll stretch the truth. They'll make up a new truth. All the things that they do in a relationship, they're going to do that in a courtroom, but it's going to feel like it's on steroids, So wrap your head around that and expect it. Don't get all, further devastated. They did all this in a relationship, and now they're in the courtroom doing the same thing. Yeah, they're being very consistent. They're being very consistent, you guys. You have to get to a point in dealing with these type of people. Once you know what type of character this person has, nothing should surprise you at that point. Like I said, you should start expecting it versus falling apart and feeling like you're getting additional betrayals and you're getting punched in the gut psychologically and emotionally furthermore, because you're still expecting some type of justice from them, some type of fairness from them, some type of truth, some type of empathy. It is not coming. All right. So when you go into that courtroom, you need to be strategic as well. The thing is, you can actually be the narcissist by doing this, because they're not expecting you to be able to compartmentalize, like we talk about here on the channel, and handle your business accordingly. This is what a lawyer has to do, no matter what was going on in their personal life that day. They have to go in a courtroom and represent this case in the best way that they know how to get that victory. And in that live chat, you guys, the lady was trying to figure out how to counter the narcissist brainwashing her child. And of course, I told her, you need to be planting your seeds as well. There are many ways to teach emotional maturity to a child according to their age. And this child was 7, but there's a way to do it, and there's also a way to counter the programming of the narcissist, reassuring your child about your love and care for them, and how you're never going to leave their side, how you're always there for them, just reassuring them about that. You plant the seeds as well. And you may feel like you shouldn't have to do these type of things, but you should if someone is trying to convince them otherwise. It's not a time to appear detached and, well, they should know. No, they won't. Kids are very impressionable, and sometimes they may not even connect the dots of what's going on between parents until they are adults and emotionally mature themselves. So, and that's a fact of the matter. But perception really can become reality, especially in a courtroom, and you have to keep in mind that narcissists are very good at first impressions. And when you go before a judge, of course, in this case, you can go before the judge several times, but sometimes it's just one time. They're very good at first impressions. So they're gonna go in there and try to win the Academy Award. Let me give you an example. Years ago, with my first ex-husband, we went to child support court. He never showed up for mediations. Mediations can happen before you have to go before a judge. He never showed up for those. But he would come in for the actual hearing. He would let it go to that, because he would file to have his child support payments reduced. Wasn't even paying that much to begin with. He wanted to cry like a baby and get it reduced. Wasn't active in the children's lives, none of that. All right. This one time he came into that courtroom and he put on a show. So my ex-husband is a black man. The judge was a black man too. He gonna come in there But I can't live. Like he was like on the verge of crying. I can't live. It's too much money. I can't live. And then the judge looking at me like, well, did you try to work with him on another amount? Did you guys ever discuss any other arrangements for this and that? Like he turned to me like it was bringing up emotions inside of the judge. And I'm like, this man refuses to even exchange phone numbers with me or, you know, have the conversations. And he coming here like he's tried to cooperate with me so many times on getting this child support reduced or on his first special circumstance when I'm just this bit of BM, right? That just want to take every cent he got. That want him out on the street. Can't tell me he can't afford to eat and all this and that because all his money is coming to me. He was lying, you know. But the point being is he was willing to go in there and stretch the truth and make it appear a certain way. So, and it could catch you off guard if you're not even expecting them to go in there and put on this show. But, you know, they might lie, say anything that just fabricating stuff, just straight up lying, like making up scenarios that never even occurred. And like, this is what can go on in the courtroom. And you having outbursts, you losing your emotional cool is just going to set you back with the judge and everybody else. You know, you have to go in there knowing is someone that's going to lie. You have to even think about what type of angles this person could go, and you might not even think of all of them, but at least you know that they're going to come in there on some BS. You know, the courtroom is typically not for that emotional stuff. It's for facts. It's for receipts. You know, and in narcissists, they may appear to have receipts. They acting like it, but they know they need to be logical. What the heck is all of this? This is crazy. That was crazy right there. All these cars merging on here. That was weird. That's very weird. Whoo, child. So don't underestimate what can go on there. You know, you don't want to underestimate them. Which means be prepared. You know, don't go in there, you know, oh, there's a new development. You never even thought of this. There you go. Be prepared. Or you come in there without a lawyer and they come in there with the best lawyer in town. Be prepared. Like, when they're on their mission, they're on their mission. You know, whether it's for the right or wrong reason, it's just for the wrong reason if it's for them. You know that. Hit some traffic. What's going on? Be prepared. And the stuff that should be going on with your therapist, then that's with your therapist and not the judge, you know. And also, there's always more than one way. Like, she was trying to get around, and I'm just taking it back to the lie. She was trying to get around her kid doing the therapy. She was trying to do everything by the book in a certain way. Nobody gets the people who are excellent in life, who stand out from the crowd, they find a creative loophole. You know, they find one. Narcissists, they'll make one. They'll make one, but just find the creative loophole. Find a way. Because there's usually, you know, more than one way that something can happen. And there's plenty of ways to play your card. But you giving them fairness when they're not giving it to you, All you're doing is strengthening it. You're basically working for the other side. You know, so move in silence. They don't need a heads up on anything. They don't. It's raining now. Let them get the surprise in court. Let them be unprepared for what you got going on. Okay? I thought, well, I guess it was later in the day. There's a 2% chance. And you know, people, or maybe it's just over here, in this section over here. So I'm headed to a nice mall. Headed to the Louis Vuitton store. Yeah. I'm headed there. Gotta go pick something up. Oh my gosh, my nose is itching. Ooh, child. What does that mean spiritually? Somebody tell me. I'm about to set up. I'm a few minutes away. Oh, boy. Woo. Alright. But, I always say many times, you guys, that you have the upper hand with them because you can change while they stay the same. And while they might not even think that you'll be able to have the wits and the smarts and the tactics and the approach, and you know, they'll underestimate you. You know, I got this in the bag. You know, they're all grandiose anyway, and they think they're smarter than everyone. And then you go in there in spite of all their tactics and lies and drama and trauma, and do what you got to do. Hold on a minute. Just want to turn that up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch this. See if I want to post this. I'll look at it later, and if I don't like it, then I'll redo it with my notes in front of me. Oh, I'm telling you, my nose is still itchy. Yeah. And you know, keep your receipts. Keep your receipts. Keep a paper trail. It's always going to be a positive thing because they've been doing it since before they met you. Okay? Got a whole following. Oh my gosh. It's a deer on the road. Alright, you guys. I'm going to let you guys go right now. A couple minutes from where I need to be. You guys, you can handle it, you know. Don't operate out of fear, of course. God's got you, especially if you're inviting him into the situation, right?